Clyde Edwards-Helaire. As much as we talked about Joe Burrow, the significance of what this guy did in this game can't go unnoticed. He was in beast mode. And with that, we welcome in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. First of all, it should have been another set of shoulders to carry you off the field in Tuscaloosa, number one. But thanks for joining us, man. I'm going to get right to it. Tell me what the locker room was like after the win in Tuscaloosa.
Man, it was crazy. Being able to run in there, man, and see, people crying and man, seeing the guys celebrate and then understanding, what actually took place on the field, it's something unimaginable. So, I mean, if I could take that moment back and relive it every day, I would.
That's awesome, man. Y'all deserve it. It was an incredible performance. But there was a lot that was put into this game. I mean, months and months and months of working for Alabama, preparing for Alabama. When did that preparation start? When did y'all start to think about, hey, this is what we need to do in order to beat the Crimson Tide and to end the streak? When did that thing really start to get going?
I would say, man, most importantly, I feel like everybody always had it in the back of their heads and understood, after the season last year or after the loss last year, everything wasn't, as far as put up front against, to say, okay, this is going to be to beat Bama. But everybody always had it in the back of their heads to understand, okay, well, the work I put in the fourth quarter program, the work I put in fall camp, eventually, when that time comes in November, it's going to be a time to be remembered. So everybody felt, leading up that the work that we put in now is going to ultimately get us that win. And me personally being from Baton Rouge, it was a big game for me. So I would say it all started, 300 and however many days ago, the last time we played them.
Clyde, speaking of preparing for the game itself, how did you guys prepare to go into the environment that was Tuscaloosa? Because a lot of people were thinking that might have gotten you guys just being in that crazy environment, but you guys were able to get it done nonetheless. Coach
O, at practice, he has these crazy speakers, and when the defense goes out, he's playing. It's not that much loud of music because their offense would be out on the field. But when we went on the field, I mean, he'd turn those speakers all the way up, have crowd noise and everything else. So that's something that we do week in and week out, especially if we know we're going into a hostile environment. And I mean, ultimately, it works out. Being able to get calls when you can't hear and understanding the severity of signals and understanding all of that, that's something Coach O prides himself on and making sure everybody on the field knows their job and executes perfectly. So that was I feel like that was a huge deal this week.
Big Dog, you in particular, man, but, as an alumni, I was so happy to see it. But if you could take me into that moment with your father after the game, like what was that emotion and just if you can let us in on what was said in that moment, what transpired in that moment between you and your father?
Man, I talk to my dad every day, and I mean, it's this. I can talk about him all day and tell his story, and people need to understand that he's been through some things that that's unimaginable. So being able to share that moment with him, see him after the game, and people need to understand that when the things that he was saying to me, I've took all type of criticism coming up, being a shorter back, and people are saying, okay, he's not big enough to play in the SEC, and sad to say that people around, people in the state, people in the city, I wasn't the guy to start. So I mean, and always having him in my corner and my family, and so for him, he was saying. They were saying that you wasn't a running back. That was something that he told me, go in, write that on your mirror. So every time you see it, when you wake up in the morning, you understand this is what you wake up. This is something that you want to do. If you want to be great, you can make yourself great because this is what you're set up for. So him, that quote, they said that you wasn't a running back. That's something that we tell each other probably once every 2 weeks, so he can always remind me.
Yes, sir.
Now that everybody knows that you're a beast, what are you writing on that mirror now? I want to know what's going on. Now that you don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore, what are you still striving for?
Oh man, that's going to remain on my mirror. You know, I'm gonna probably add some exclamation points behind it, just the fact that, you know, those things were still said by people, and you know, I can have people in my corner now, but you know, they weren't always there. So I always feel like I have something to prove. My whole life I've been too small, too short, too whatever to do the things that people felt that can, you know, get this team to the next level. But I mean, like I said, my heart can't be measured, and I would do anything for this team, anything for this state, anything for this city. So that's something I pride myself on.
Clyde, I know you say you have a lot to prove. So does your quarterback, Joe Burrow. What's it like seeing him under center and the way he runs your offense week in and week out?
Oh man, like I say, Joe is our field general. He understands everything that goes on. You know, I had an interview with Jacob Hester, and when we were talking about Joe, and I can't say no wrong about Joe as far as the way he prepares, the way he executes things. If something doesn't go right, I mean, we go in after practice and throw. We go in after practice and watch film. Anything that we can do to give us that edge, Joe is all for it. And you know, the guy's amazing. So I love him, and you know, I'm happy I'm always, you know, next to him in the backfield.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app, and for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.